What's going on, and welcome back to another episode of the STGeek Podcast with myself, AJ, and my co-host R.
Oh, I'm Peter. I'm John. This is John.
I'm Peter. Great.
And I'm John. And also AJ.
Yeah.
Guess who's who?
Right.
This is John.
It's going to be a fun one today, guys.
That's the podcast. Thank you. Let's wrap it up.
Thanks so much for listening. So, we do have quite a few news stories for you guys today. For those of you that may be unfamiliar who are listening, though, we are a podcast where we each bring in some topics, some news throughout the week, dealing with media, whether it is gaming, movies, shows, comics, whatever we really care about. And we do have quite a few trailers to break down as well. We'll have a segment for that coming up. If you have any questions or topics, though, that you would like us to touch on and give you a little shout out for future episodes, you can find us on Gmail. That's stgeekpod@gmail.com. Also Twitter and Instagram @STGeekPod. But without further ado, let's get started. And just to get things going, we do have to give a little send off to the man, the legend, Mr. Stan Lee.
Stan the man at 95, I believe.
95.
Yeah, that's old. It's pretty old.
If you guys didn't happen to see on our Instagram, we did upload like a little picture of just all like a sample of cameos, you could say, throughout all of the Marvel movies that he's been in. It was kind of just a fun little way of showing, like, you know, yeah, it's sad that he's gone, but the dude has lived a very wild lifestyle and has done a really good job for himself. I mean, he got to create what was once, or be a part of the beginning of Timely Comics, which then turned into Marvel Comics later on and down the way. He was a war veteran as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Kind of just insane to see the life he led, for sure.
He generally seemed very happy. You can tell he loved his fans. I've seen a couple of interviews about him talking about how much he loves his fans and how much his fans love him. It's just kind of crappy that I know he was going through some stuff towards the end of his life. Like, his wife died, I think, a year ago. Oh, yeah. And then there was some issues going on with his daughter. So he's definitely going through some shit. And I guess I don't know exactly how it worked, but he signed his social media rights or something like that. Because companies were posting under his name. And then I know a couple of months ago, he was actually on Twitter and he posted a video saying, "It's Stan, this is me actually doing it." Yeah, that was a thing. So he was going through some shit. I mean, it's kind of like taking advantage of an old man is what I would imagine.
Yeah, it is. But at least he took the time to actually correct things and, you know, deal with it.
Yeah, and people loved him, and he knows he was loved. And
yes. Well, one thing that I really noticed on social media was that every post I saw on Twitter and Instagram, it was people that actually, like, I could not see a face that he made that didn't seem like he was genuinely happy to just be taking a picture with someone that cared about his work so much, his life's work. I just thought that was really cool, and I'm gonna definitely miss all the cameos that he's gonna be in the future. Though I've heard they have recorded a few though.
They said his final cameo is gonna be in Avengers 4.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
so he has the Captain Marvel one and the. Is there anything else? No, it's just Captain Marvel and
then Avengers.
Avengers 4. So yeah, that's going to be his last cameo. It's really interesting to see to have his last cameo be in what's supposed to end or culminate the entire movie universe.
Yeah, of what we know so far. Yeah,
so that's
kind of crazy.
That's life.
So speaking of cameos, what is your guys' favorite cameos?
Oh, that's
only name one.
Okay. You guys have one?
I know mine.
Please go ahead.
Let's hear yours, Peter.
Fantastic Four 2.
God damn it! That is definitely my favorite one. God damn it! I should have said I was gonna go first.
By the way, I just heard of I did not know John was gonna ask that question. I just immediately that's just
my mind went. It's the best one. So we're right, AJ. Obviously.
What happens? Remind me. I've seen that movie.
So they're getting married. Reed Richards and
Susan Storm,
and he's trying to get into the wedding, and he's not getting through, and he's like, "What? I created these guys."
That's right.
Fucking rejected.
My favorite probably was the shock that he was like the DJ at a strip club for Deadpool 1. I thought that was pretty awesome. He's like, and next up is, and I was like, what? That Stan Lee? No, I got
Stan Lee. No, your pristine image. Why?
Exactly. I just thought it was amazing.
Hey, he's down with the bitches and hoes.
Yeah, can't knock him for that. I thought that was just
he loved random. All of his fans,
all of them, every inch of them. Oh God, but yeah, I thought that was pretty funny and ridiculous that they threw him in that he was down to do something like that, considering his image. Yeah, socially anyway. I always always thought of him as kind of like the clean version of Hugh Hefner. That was just my take on it.
There was that funny little cameo of Iron Man 2? Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Where he walks in and he thinks he's Hef. I think
he calls him Hef.
Yeah, hey Hef. That's the first one.
It's just a random.
Or is it the second one?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's like when he's going through like the press is all kind of flashing pictures of him, stuff like that. I do remember that. Yeah. Hey Hef. I forgot about that.
I think it was the Avengers one where there's like the whole fight scene going on behind him when he's listening to music. I love that one too. That one's pretty fucking great. He has no idea what's going on. It's Spider-Man getting his ass kicked by somebody.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's. I think it's. Is it the Amazing Spider-Man? It's one of those movies. Yeah, it's the Amazing Spider-Man where he fights the lizard and he's in a library and then he has the music on and then they just. Yeah.
Is that what it was? I completely forgot about that movie.
That's a pretty great one.
But yes,
the Fantastic Four will always be the
best.
So good.
Awesome. Very nice. I'm just imagining like the irony of it all. That's all. But yeah, so rest in peace, Stan Lee. Thank you for all the adventures. It's been a hell of a ride, and I look forward to more.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Did you guys ever get a chance to meet Stan Lee?
Never have. No.
I didn't get a chance to meet him. However, I did see him from a distance once.
Nice.
What was this?
Frankenstein's.
Oh, you
yes,
went
there with he used to.
Yeah, I went there with the intention to get an autograph, and then
the line was ridiculous.
The line was ridiculously long, and they were charging like $200.
Oh my god!
Yes,
and I was like, so and I was a broke ass bitch at the time, so I was just like, I can see him.
I can forge my own signature.
I could say that I breathe the same air, but that's good enough.
But even then, just seeing him, I was just like, wow, there he is. That's the man. And like you were saying earlier, he seems genuinely happy and just he. I was watching him for a while, as you do. And yeah, as you do,
Stan Lee, of course you do. Yeah,
breathing heavily,
and you just see him like every fan that he meets, he just gives them his everything he has. Like he contains that level of energy. Like he seems genuinely excited, and it's almost as though he has his own superpower because he just has such a friendly, positive attitude that he can just get people to like him instantly.
Yeah.
I feel like even if you don't know who he is, if you met the guy with that much energy and that much positivity, you can't help but like him. I mean, we all knew it was coming, but it's so sad to live in a world without Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he left behind a huge legacy for us all to enjoy, and I'm pretty ever appreciative for that. Or appreciative,
without a doubt,
for sure. So thank you, Stan Lee. Now, just to move on then from that, thank you again, Stan Lee. So we do have the Toy Story 4 teaser that came out recently. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Key and Peele are in it. That's cool.
Yeah, that's right. They played what were those characters? Like a panda and like a
duck.
I didn't know that
monster thing.
Yeah, that's voiced by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm. We also had another teaser where they're like dancing around.
That was the one I saw
like
with
ringing
Forky,
around the rosies and all that. Yeah. I think its name is Forky. He's like a spork.
He's freaking out because he doesn't know he's a toy. He freaks out. He's like,
it was like the first thing they released. Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, I think the synopsis is something along the lines of he's like in denial of being a toy. I think is what it is, or it could be the reverse.
Because he's like an arts and crafts toy.
Yeah,
so, like
pipe cleaner and stuff like that. Googly eyes.
That's pretty funny.
So I think it's like them going through like a psychiatric journey of acceptance for him, or something like that.
That sounds fun.
Very deep. Yeah, for Disney. For sure, and Pixar, I guess you could say. So yeah, pretty fun looking movie though. Animation looks great, and I'm excited for it.
That's what you come to expect from a Pixar movie.
It's Toy Story, so be looking forward to crying a little bit if Toy Story 3 was any indication at all.
Don't do it again. I can't go through it. That was too deep.
That wasn't just me.
There weren't my childhood right there. Watching them die.
About to be murdered by fiery magma.
It's funny seeing Toy Story the original was one of the first movies I remember seeing as a kid. It's like one of my early memories of going to the movies and watching a movie. It was that one. So yeah, that third one, that closing scene was just like, oh god,
right?
My soul,
my 5-year-old soul, just being crushed right now.
Yep,
most definitely. I remember Toy Story the original was the first full-length CG movie actually to ever hit theaters. That was quite a feat, quite a legacy.
That was a very big deal at the time.
Oh, most definitely, still is. I mean, so many people are hype about 4 to come out. I would say it's certainly not necessary to come out, but I'm glad they're making it nonetheless.
For the next generation.
Exactly, yeah. Keep the
I was totally
alive.
fine with the culmination that the third one had. But again, I mean, If this one ends up being bad, I can just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, there you go.
I still have the first 3. It's fine. Childhood not ruined.
I don't know. Stinky Pete, we'll always have him.
Yep.
So another Disney property that's going to be coming out is the Dumbo live-action movie, which recently got a new trailer. Peter, what were your thoughts on that one? You had mentioned that as a topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's Dumbo. It looks...
It's an elephant.
Prepare to cry once again.
Fly spoilers.
The thing that I thought was pretty interesting about this was I didn't realize how many live-action Disney movies were in production all at the same time.
Lion King right now as well.
They're Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Like, that's crazy. I think
You sound like the homeboy, AJ. The Aladdin.
I'm just,
hype man.
It's all coming to mind. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. CGI looked pretty good. I really like the way the elephant looked.
Yeah, it looks really
I'm not
good.
gonna watch it.
Really?
I mean, probably for the podcast, but not by choice.
I'm not
by
looking
choice.
forward to it. Dumbo wasn't really one of my favorites growing up.
No.
Bring
not
me
at all.
Hercules. I want Hercules.
It'll come one
or
day.
the Emperor's New Groove.
At live action, the first
Yeah,
group.
please.
Will David Spade still play the Emperor?
I would hope.
Yeah.
I would say that would be the perfect person to do it. However, the way that Disney's been doing it, as far as like they've been trying to be more ethnically representative nowadays, to put it that way, they want to make sure that whatever the ethnicity of the character was, they have that portrayed in
Put
live
him in
action.
makeup. It's worked in the past, right? Nobody gets mad at that.
No, not at all.
Nobody gets angry.
No
at
color
that.
of makeup whatsoever.
No.
Or
It
just
all
ignoring
works.
it outright. Just casting a white actor, actress in a ethnic role. Nobody gets angry at that either, right?
Right? No, not at all.
At PG Chava.
Direct your angry tweets toward Peter.
Peachy Chava.
Yes, please do. But yeah, it looks
Prove
like a
him
fun
wrong.
movie. I look forward to it personally. I didn't know that Michael Keaton was going to be in it, but he is due to. I want to say he's going to be the villain in this movie.
It seems like it. He's going to be the ringmaster of the... Or like the owner of the circus or whatever the hell.
Right, mistreats the elephants and everyone else probably for that matter. He just seemed a little too jolly in the trailer to be able to take as a sincere guy.
Directed by Tim Burton. What do you guys think about that?
See,
Peter,
go
I
ahead.
feel like you looked right at me, Peter.
go ahead.
I'm not a fan of Tim Burton, but I will say this: I had no interest in the movie before I knew it was Tim Burton, so that has nothing to do with it. But I don't like Tim Burton. He ruined Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for me.
I thought it was... Yeah.
That was
He
terrible.
has good ones.
Yeah, you're right.
Have you ever seen Big Fish?
Big Fish is an
really good.
amazing
I have
movie.
seen Big
That
Fish.
one's really good.
Ewan McGregor.
With Danny DeVito as a circus ringmaster. I
forgot
Much like in this one.
I
matter of
totally
fact.
forgot about that. Oh my god. But yeah, great.
Cinematic
movie.
universe confirmed.
But it looks
Full
like
circle.
he's not Tim Burtoning it up.
They
like
probably
from the
told him
trailer-
not to.
There's some... probably told him not to. There's some magical... There's some Tim Burton-esque shots in this trailer that I feel like with how he has a certain whimsical feel to a lot of the stuff that he does. But other than that, it doesn't really feel Tim Burton-y. I mean, I guess it is already a property, and so you kind of need to...
putting his little sprinkle
Exactly.
in there. I mean, if it comes out good, I'm gonna love it. I mean, I guess I should say is I hate a majority of Tim Burton's movies.
I
Like
think
if he
we
makes
all
a great
agree.
movie, like I had recently watched Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
and I was actually a fan of
Yeah,
it.
good
liked
movie.
it,
Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't know it was a
musical.
musical. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, okay,
And yet it was
Touche.
done really well.
Touche,
He can do
Tim
musicals,
Burton.
yeah.
You know, so
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That one.
That remake was horrible.
terrible.
Horrible.
I'll do my best to watch that from my brain, please. But no, ultimately, though, I am excited. If the trailer's any indication, I think I'll like this movie because it seemed pretty impactful, really exciting. I'm hoping for good things with it.
Yep.
I just think they went to Tim Burton and was like, hey, Tim Burton, can you turn down the Tim Burton for this one? Just a little bit, please. But yeah, and I don't really get that vibe either. Like, it seemed not overly dark and yet not overly whimsical. It seemed like just fun enough to be a Disney movie and yet just dark enough for me to actually relate to it and care about what might come to play within the movie.
Do you guys remember that trippy drunk scene
Yes.
from Dumbo where
The
they have
pink
the
elephants
balloons? Yeah.
dancing,
They show a quick shot of some bubbles forming elephants and stuff.
yeah.
And I feel like Tim Burton would have a ball doing a live action play on that scene, because that scene, even as a kid, I was just like, this is kind of fucking creepy. This is weird. So I'm not looking forward to it too much either, but I'll watch it for that alone, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's where. Yeah, I think you're right. That's where we will see the most Tim Burton-esque feel to the movie for sure. And it seems like he'll probably have a lot of fun with that. Moving on, though, we do have the Dragon Ball Super Broly early premiere in Japan, and the whole synopsis is out. John?
Yes. So some lucky few.
I'll cover my ears. La 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 la.
I was about to say
anything.
something right before we recorded the podcast, and I stopped myself because I actually wanted to ask: do you guys actually know anything about the Broly movie? Like characters that might be in it besides Broly, obviously.
I saw the first and the second. I guess the second trailer too, and then I stopped. Seeing the second trailer was honestly too much for me. I would have liked to not know any of that stuff.
I haven't seen the second trailer because I'm just trying to be a surprise.
But they already
I'm
have
down
my
to hear you
ticket.
out,
I
though.
can wait. I want to be surprised.
And you don't even know about like the clue. There was like kind of clues that came out before more of these characters were revealed. When the movies, these re-releases were released in theaters.
There
were certain movies in order.
I know what you're saying, but I don't want to.
You don't want
it confirmed in your mind.
All right, so I won't say much, but lucky few got to watch it basically a month beforehand. I know some American people flew out and watched it too, but I don't really know who is the person who actually released the synopsis, but I follow Geekdom 101. If you guys don't know him, follow him.
Find him on YouTube?
Yes, YouTube. He's a great YouTuber, talks about Dragon Ball. And he went through the whole breakdown. A lot of people are saying this is just the best Dragon Ball movie out there, that they're taking a step up. And and another fun fact. So I brought this up, I believe it was the last podcast, but I was saying how the Broly manga was going to be coming out early. So that's actually not true. I guess what happened is there's going to be a manga. People are guessing right now it's a manga exclusive new arc following Super.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's supposed to be coming out at the end of this month, I believe. Next couple weeks.
That won't be released as an anime as well?
Nobody's sure yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
As of right now, it's manga exclusive.
If that's how it'll be, I'll buy the manga just because that'd be pretty fun to be able to follow up.
And people are assuming it's just going to be like a filler manga, but kind of interesting.
It's still more lore.
So it's not a Broly manga.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if it'll lead right up to it.
If you guys want to know the movie, go ahead and go to Geekdom's page.
There you go.
I don't want to ruin it for these guys.
Geekdom on YouTube.
Like you already did.
I'm pretty oblivious.
It's
just
I have a lot of names running through my mind right now, but I'm happy not to know.
I already know.
It's pretty obvious if you look at the
plausible deniability. Is
just to avoid spoilers for our listeners. Well, then we'll just not mention the name.
Why can't they just earmuffs, guys?
Earmuffs. No.
I'll go in the corner. Cover my ears.
Okay, no. Let's move along.
I'll fucking wait until he uncovers, and then I'll say it.
Very good. All right. So moving on then from there, we do have the Godzilla vs. Kong synopsis coming out in 2020 with a full cast reveal, as well as some actors you may recognize from recent Marvel movies and such as well. Only thing I noticed as far as returning characters from the first Godzilla movie that came out a few years ago was the Japanese actor that was basically telling his character told the Americans as far as don't go after Godzilla. He's actually a savior. He's not trying to hurt anyone. He was the one that knew the truth all along. I won't spoil much about the movie if you haven't seen it. It is only a few years old.
What's there to spoil? It's Godzilla. He wrecks shit up, and then he kills a monster, and
then he leaves.
Yeah. Who's to say if he's a good guy or bad guy? That's kind of the struggle to find out what he is in the first one, or she.
Having not seen, because girls can be monsters too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Equal opportunity.
2018, guys.
Yep. Having not seen the first one, Godzilla, in my mind, I always got the impression that he was never good or bad. He just kind of likes a challenge.
Yeah,
he just sees another monster. He'll fuck shit up.
Right?
Yeah. And then
you can't do anything to me.
Yeah, and then he'll just destroy buildings just kind of as a happenstance.
Yeah.
Not really intentionally, just like, well, that building was in my way of the monster that I'm trying to kill, so...
And that's kind of how it happens
so he's Superman
in the movie.
Pretty much,
right?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Collateral damage, it happens. There's casualties in every war. But so we do have the full synopsis. It's a quick little one for Godzilla vs. Kong, and it goes that fearsome monsters Godzilla and King Kong square off in an epic battle for the ages, while humanity looks to wipe out both creatures and take back the planet. So you kind of get an idea of what's going to be going on. Humans are kind of like, we don't need them. Let's just save us all by getting rid of both of them at the same time. Only thing is, Godzilla has been known to have radioactive activity within it, and I believe Kong has a similar idea because it is obviously an oversized ape as well. Any thoughts towards the trailer? We watched it right before we started recording.
The synopsis says both of the monsters, yet the trailer clearly
Wait,
No, the trailer we watched was for Godzilla 2.
You said trailer. Yeah, you're throwing
Sorry, King of
everybody off.
Monsters.
Okay.
My bad. That was not the trailer for this. There's
That
no
would have been
trailer for
very
this movie yet.
disappointing.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Wait, that was the synopsis for the first one?
For Godzilla vs Kong, the 2020 movie.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay, never mind.
But yeah, just kind of excited because it's Godzilla. This is something I watched when I was 5 years old, 4 years old, and then King Kong. I always liked those movies. Peter Jackson one was okay. I like the action sequences.
It's just really long.
I've never seen it.
It's not bad.
It's okay.
But it's really long. And a lot of it is just like, can we get to the fucking giant monkey already?
Right.
Ape, whatever he is. I'm no zoologist. At PG Chava.
Gorilla. You could
Gorilla,
say that, yeah. Ape, for sure. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's fun. It has its fun parts. Jack Black's great in it. It's like
He's great in everything.
One of his roles that isn't like supposed to be super funny, but he just is charismatic being Jack Black.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But yeah, I'm excited for this movie. I can't wait for 2020. Godzilla King of Monsters is coming out soon as well. Are we not getting another Kong movie before this comes out? I feel like we're not going to.
so.
No.
Not worth it. I liked the first Kong movie, Skull Island. It was all right. But ultimately...
While we're on the topic of these movies
Yes.
and this monster universe that Legendary is building, did you hear? I don't remember if this is confirmed, but did you hear that they're thinking about having some crossover with the Pacific Rim franchise and these
that would be
kaijus?
cool.
I think they decided to turn it into an anime, from what I was hearing.
Oh.
I know that Pacific Rim is getting an anime,
Yeah.
but
I do know what you're talking about because they're technically in the same, not universe, but it's the same makers.
and
It's
they're
Warner
owned by
Brothers.
I think Legendary Pictures.
Is it not Legendary?
Yeah,
it
it's
was
a
Legendary.
production
Legendary
company.
Entertainment,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, though. Warner Brothers and Legendary. Very
Okay,
good. So
there you
both.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have heard those rumors. That would be fucking dope. And I haven't actually seen the second Pacific Rim, but I know the first one brought up different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, let's fucking do it. What are we waiting for, guys?
Yeah.
I'd buy the toys.
Right? Hell yeah. Some of those stories actually look pretty
Can
cool.
you
I've seen
imagine
them.
fucking Mecha Godzilla versus like a Pacific Rim?
Hell yeah,
Oh, my
dude.
God.
King Ghidorah or Mecha King Ghidorah. I'm down. I'm ready.
Let's do it, guys.
Count me in. Whether it's an anime or a full-length movie live action, it sounds like fun to me. Perfect crossover in my mind.
Fun fact.
Yes.
Peter is secretly a billionaire. So at PG Java, let's get this shit started.
Right? Let me see here. So what other trailers do we have to talk about? We have a few, though. To get to a big one that we do have a couple other trailers to talk about. We do have Replicas that just came out a couple days ago. This new trailer, anyway, that Peter had mentioned, starring Keanu Reeves. A movie coming out pretty darn soon, I reckon. That movie looked pretty good.
Yeah, it caught my interest.
Yeah.
It looks pretty original.
Another sci-fi Keanu Reeves movie. I'm ready, though.
Yeah, same here. That's what caught my eye. I'm just like, Keanu Reeves is doing a movie? Like, I'll check this out.
And he's not a samurai, guys.
And he's not a samurai.
Don't mistake it for the Bruce Willis movie Replicants. This is Replicas. So if you, just in case you want to check it out on YouTube, we'll give a little brief rundown. Obviously, we don't have many spoilers because the movie isn't even out yet. But essentially, it is about Keanu Reeves, and you find out that his wife and children have been killed in, what was it, like a car accident?
Yeah.
Car accident. And then so he brings them back with bioengineering. I couldn't tell if it was robotics or cloning or a combination of the two.
Cloning.
Okay, because
And
I
then
did
it
see
looks
like
like-
a robot.
Yeah.
There was like that one robot that they showed, or like an android, and it seemed like it was going through like some sort of emotional episode. Am I wrong?
No,
Did you guys see that?
Oh, I did not really notice it.
It
Because
was
I
like- it
saw
was like
her
full
in
frames.
I saw her in like the tub of water. That's why I assumed it was a human.
I wonder if it was maybe some sort of biology, but then the outer shell or the skeleton is robotics, something like that, synthetic.
Like an exoskeleton of some sort.
You could say that, yeah. And then it's just the body wrapped around it. I don't know. It seemed a little creepy in that regard. Now that I think about it, and it's. I guess the government finds out, and so then now they're chasing Keanu Reeves, and he's like, and the wife is asking, why did you do this? Because I love you, and blah 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 blah. And it just seems like insanity ensues from there. I think that's a line I say often in the show.
From the trailer, it looks like it's a pretty straightforward plot.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that there might be some twists and turns in that movie.
A little unexpected, yeah, something.
It seems like a movie that would be ripe for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It looks good. It caught my eye.
It does look really, really fun. Now, before we go on to the last trailer that we're going to talk about for this trailer triathlon, you could call it, we do, even though we talked about way more than 3, we do have one bit of news from the fighting game community. Those of you that may be interested. John, you want to mention that?
Yeah, so little fun fact. Infiltration, he is from the fighting game community. He's pretty known in esports, I would say. He's a very big Street Fighter player. He had stopped playing tournaments for the last couple of months because there were allegations that he beat his wife senselessly. Basically, she had a restraining order against him, and so Panda Gaming didn't want to which is the group he's a part of, which is pretty big in the esports.
Yes,
I know they're outside of the FGC, and they did an investigation, so they asked him to not play tournaments for a while. And I guess while that was happening, a lot more rumors came out.
Wow.
And they were just rumors. Mm-hmm. And this was like a 2-month investigation. It's kind of crazy to think it's been that long. And so I guess most of those rumors were all false, but he did beat his wife, is what they're saying. Wow. Like, he broke her wrist, and there was something else. So he disqualified himself from the Capcom Cup, so he's not going to be competing anymore this year. Damn. And they let him go from Panda Gaming. So, yeah.
So he's disqualified himself from Capcom Cup, which is like one of the biggest fighting game tournaments ever. And on top of that, he was let go from the team he's sponsored and plays for.
And I mean, his career's done.
Yeah. So
I mean, it might be okay over there. Because
right.
from my understanding, you can get away. Because from my understanding, you can get away with it over there.
Okay.
And because he's from Korea, South Korea. And yeah, I think he's done. I mean, if he was to come to like the U.S., people don't want him here. I'm sure at that point.
It's just a shock because, I mean, if this is a true story and all...
Still allegedly.
Yeah, still allegedly, of course.
No, well...
Oh, please.
That was the ruling?
Like, he had to pay like $200. That was like the fee. And it was
$200 for what?
Because it's a fee. For
$200 for beating beating your wife tax?
Not a tax.
This is getting political very quickly.
He got charged. I can't think of the word of what he got.
But
charged
only $200.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Something minuscule.
Which is why I said it's not as bad in South Korea. Like you can get away with it over there.
Jesus.
So that definitely happened.
Okay.
He definitely beat her, and there was a 2-week restraining order.
Wow. Or at least it was ruled that he beat her. In the court of law.
He claims he's innocent.
Okay.
And that he's talking to his lawyer still. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there are actual documents saying that happened.
We are getting deep on STGeek Podcast this week, guys. I mean,
moral of the story: don't beat your wife.
Anybody.
Yeah, don't beat anybody.
Don't be a fucking Godzilla.
Unless it's being an asshole.
Yeah, don't be a Godzilla. Yeah, please. Don't. Wow. That's too bad. Only because, I mean, for one, he had such a positive persona within the fighting game community, within the esports community. That this is like one of the last guys I would have expected that from. But I guess it's kind of how it goes in today's day and age. You don't know how someone is behind. Yeah,
he's a
sweet
really
guy.
AJ has a sweet picture.
Oh God, I forgot about this.
This was like 3-4 years ago. SoCal Regionals,
probably longer.
We
were kids.
This guy's passed out infiltration on his seat, and AJ's like, "Guys, take a picture." So AJ goes behind him, and he does the most funkiest pose. Do we have that picture?
Oh God, I think it's on one of my old phones.
We might be able to try to find it. You find us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll post the picture.
Yeah,
we'll post the picture if we can find it.
It's amazing. I'd recommend checking it out.
Gotcha.
I peed next to that man.
Oh wow,
that happened once.
It would have been considered an honor. Now I don't know.
Not
I don't want to glorify him if that's what he's doing. But yeah, that is crazy. Just to think that someone with such a positive persona in one light in public is apparently totally different behind closed doors with someone he should not definitely be acting that way with. So I don't condone his behavior. We don't as part of this podcast.
Not at all.
He lost a fan. I was a big fan.
Yeah.
He definitely
same
lost
here.
a fan.
He was one of my faves.
He had the legacy as being one of the best once upon a time. He did fall off quite a bit. Apparently, maybe from a negative
for 1 year.
life.
I want to say it was 2014.
I think when
he was on top of
when
Street
he
Fighter
got
4.
married is when he stopped.
It was like the year of infiltration.
Because he was everything. He got some kind of shit done to his hair. He lost a lot of weight. He started wearing makeup.
There were some dramatic changes going on with him for sure. But anyway, it's too bad, and I'm sorry to hear that because he was once a pretty bright light within that community, and to see that go away is ultimately too bad. But let's move on from that downer and let's bring things up a little bit. Peter, you had an interesting topic to bring up. Again, right before we get to the trailer, I'm really excited for that the Venom is for the Academy Awards? What are you talking about?
It's been leaked. There's a leaked image that Sony Pictures was, I guess, sending to the Academy Award judges, whatever you want to call them, to the Academy, I guess.
Okay.
they're starting a campaign to get Venom in for some Academy Awards.
Like best comedy and musical, I'm gonna imagine. Those are usually lumped in together, and that movie did have its comedic moments, but I can't think of anything else it deserves. I don't even remember the score being very exciting.
I probably should have had this pulled up already. I'll show you all the things they're pushing it for.
I can't wait to hear.
So yeah, there's an actual.
You found it?
Yes, I found it.
Go for it. What's that?
So for best original song.
Eminem
for the
Venom.
For Venom. Boom, boom. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Doesn't he say like Venom 8 times?
Venom.
I've actually listened to the whole song, and it's actually not bad. But they just play the most ridiculous part during the credits.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah,
we get it. It's Venom.
Yeah.
Goddamn. How many times do they pay you to say that?
Yeah, for real. So, best original song, best director,
Terrible.
Best director?
yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Wow.
Again,
Move on.
this is just them pitching it to the Academy. So who knows if they'll
That
actually
takes a
end
lot
up
of
getting
balls.
the consideration.
A lot of balls.
Oh, it gets better.
Go back to STGeek Podcast episode 1, and you can hear our thoughts on that if you couldn't tell
It
already.
gets even
it's a fun
better.
ride.
So, best actress
Please.
Michelle Williams.
Oh, she's a great actress, though.
Best supporting actor Woody Harrelson.
For the 5 seconds he's in it? Ronald McDonald, murderer? Oh my god. Okay.
Best actor Tom Hardy.
Oh,
best
my-
actor Riz Ahmed.
This has got to be a joke.
And best picture of the year.
Wow.
This is a joke, right?
This is, according to several sources, this is real. This is sad. They're really pitching for this.
Okay, so I'm not like the biggest guy in Hollywood, and I never will be. But I mean, I like to think I have a small idea of how the film industry works, and they might just be doing this to get their name across, like get the
Well,
movie's
this wasn't
name
supposed to be public.
across
This
more
is
areas.
leaked.
Really?
This is not. It's not supposed to be public.
Well, I'm just saying, like they could say Oscar-nominated movie Venom for when it comes to home video. That way, they can use that as more promotion.
Well,
get
they
their name
can't.
out
They
there.
can't actually say it because it's not going to actually happen. Peter's just saying
That's true.
they're
Well, they're
suggesting.
But if they
to.
get it,
Oh yeah,
then they
that
can say
happens.
so.
Then they can say that, but that's not going to fucking happen.
They didn't go for comedy and musical at all.
As ridiculous as this, no, they didn't. As ridiculous as this whole thing sounds, you also got to remember that Suicide Squad, for whatever fucking reason, is an Academy Award-winning movie.
What?
What?
How do you guys not know this?
For
Yes.
what?
For makeup or some shit, makeup and costume design. So technically speaking, it is an Academy Award-winning film.
Harley Quinn looked cool. I'll give her that. Captain
half
Boomerang
naked.
looked okay. That's not even why. But if she did look, Margot
You
Robbie
haven't
did
had
look
a
great in that
DC
movie.
fan yell that in your face about how DC's better because they have an Academy Award-winning film for
Now, I
makeup
can't-
and costume.
They had one
You're
cool
right.
looking character.
I'm sorry.
They had one good looking character in that whole movie. One amazing looking character. Everyone else looked okay.
So as ridiculous as it sounds,
Please.
it's somewhat plausible, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny to think that Sony really wants this to succeed in every possible way. I mean, they want every movie to succeed, but they're really
Pushing it.
pushing
It did
this
great
one.
in the box
Goddamn.
office. It did great in the box office. So they'll get the public vote, I imagine. But I mean, I can't imagine the Academy actually allowing something like this to actually happen.
Best picture of the year, best
Wow.
actor,
That's
best
some
director.
That takes some
God.
balls. It takes some
That's-
goal, for sure. Well, I think you guys can get our opinion on what we think about that movie, if you can call it that. It's a movie. It's entertaining.
There was one more thing.
Sure.
Kind of tied to that loosely, but apparently this is just a quick fun
Sure.
thing that I saw. But apparently the cinematographer for Venom, as well as I guess he's working on the Birds of Prey movie, which is supposedly still happening.
I'm excited for it.
Apparently-
Margot Robbie seems excited for
Apparently he got arrested for allegedly assaulting public officials in a drunken episode.
Oh, wow.
So that's fun.
it. Wow.
I'm pretty sure Sony doesn't want anybody to hear about that
Right.
while they're pushing for Academy Awards. But now you guys know, so spread that.
Which director was he for? Birds of Prey?
He's the cinematographer.
Oh, cinematographer.
for Venom and also
Venom.
for Birds of Prey.
Wow. Did they finish shooting Birds of Prey already?
I think they just announced it a few months ago. I don't even think it's gone into pre-production yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Probably just hiring people.
Yeah,
I guess so. See, well, I guess we got to look forward to a new cinematographer for the credits.
Yep.
Of this one. Interesting. For sure. All right. Well, yeah. DC, you have Shazam and you have Aquaman to impress everyone. And I'm excited for those two. As we've
Yeah.
said
Oh, yeah.
multiple times throughout episodes of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Totally hyped for those ones. I'm hoping Birds of Prey will be good now that they lost a cinematographer. Possibly. We'll see what they can do with that. Interesting. So, are you guys ready to move on to the last trailer we'll talk about?
Yeah.
I wanted to save this one for last, just because I was most excited for this
I don't
one.
even remember what this is.
Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yes. How could I forget?
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Pokemon. Those of you that don't know, I'm a big Pokemon nerd. Everyone in this room
But AJ,
grew up.
the crown.
AJ,
I am the crown nerd of Pokemon, at least in this room.
In this room. Yep.
Sure. But we all grew up with Pokemon, at least those of us sitting in this room right now. So it is something near and dear to our hearts, at least in a nostalgic way, I would imagine it.
At the very least, yeah.
Oh, okay, I appreciate that. What did you guys think of the trailer? We have our first official trailer out.
I loved it. I'm all in.
Yeah, so
I am all
yeah.
in.
Like AJ said, I'm not really into Pokemon as much anymore. I mean,
Same
I'll play
here.
the game
And
every
that's fair.
once in a while.
You got Y
But
version?
it touched me in the feelings.
Oh, yeah.
In a good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Pokemon look great. I thought they
Yes.
looked incredible.
Yeah.
Some people are freaking out because the Pokemon are furry. They have fur. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, they're animals. They're creatures. Why wouldn't they have fur? Yeah, who
Yeah,
cares?
And not all of them do. Like Charizard has scales, even though he looks slightly furry because of the blurred motion.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he's definitely scaly.
Is
Yeah.
that the Jigglypuff from the cartoon?
I was
Yeah,
hoping
I wanna
so.
say it
looks
is.
like it because she's got the marker.
When she's all pissed off?
Yeah, she's all grumpy.
The guy's passed out.
exactly.
Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
guys.
I was a little skeptical that that Jigglypuff looked a little extra furry, but its name is as Puff in the name.
Yeah.
What do you expect? So, and I was fine with that. I think the majority of the Pokemon look great. So I'm really excited for this one. Not just because it says Pokemon in the name, obviously that is a big part of it, but Ryan Reynolds is doing a good job voicing Pikachu. Every
He's
line
a
you
good
hear.
voice actor, just in general.
Yeah.
Like he's that's one of the things that makes Deadpool so great is that he's wearing a mask and they can just ADR whatever he could just keep doing take after take after take
And
and
he's
whatever's
so funny. I mean,
he's very funny.
I loved him in Blade Trinity. That's when I really
sure.
fell in love with him.
I think
Which
that's
is
what a
Deadpool.
lot of people did.
That's Deadpool.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
great.
He's got the katanas and everything,
Yeah,
right?
so good.
Yep. So totally excited for this. The jokes seem to land pretty well as well so
Some
far.
people hated I am seeing a lot of buzz that people aren't happy that Ryan Reynolds is the voice, and I think you all are crazy. I said it at PG
Yeah.
Chaba.
Yeah, hit him up. Send
At me.
hey.
Yeah, fucking at me.
Send the love in here.
Let's go.
But yeah,
He's saying your guys are wrong.
I think a lot of people, or at least a lot of people I know that are like within the Pokemon community nowadays, a lot of people are pulling for Danny DeVito to be Pikachu. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of that.
No.
But that was a big thing. People were like clamoring for Danny DeVito.
I just got a mental image of
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
I mean, it's right about the same
Frank's
stature
voice.
and everything. I think he would have been a little more of a gruff Pikachu, maybe slightly more sarcastic and silly. But again, I think Ryan Reynolds,
Perfect choice.
his voice acting is perfect for kids and also for adults to really be able to embrace and understand. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Ryan Reynolds is just a little more relevant to the general audience right now anyway. I mean, obviously, DeVito is in, Always Sunny. So he's
Great
in that,
show.
but
Yeah.
and he is going to star in Dumbo also as like the ringleader, it seems. But ultimately, though, I mean, he's not in a whole lot
He's
of
done
other
voice
things.
acting before too, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and he's done great work. I just think that Ryan Reynolds is the guy for the job for sure.
I think so. I'm all in. Like I said,
Yeah. When Danny DeVito was interviewed, I want to say it was Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken. This is like a year or two ago. And someone in the audience asked him during a panel, like, would you voice Pikachu for Detective Pikachu? And then he was like, what is that?
What's a Pikachu?
And yeah, what's
Yeah.
a Pikachu? What's a Pokemon?
Yep.
And so that immediately was like, okay, he has zero interest in doing this.
Yep.
But again, if anyone had to do it, I'm glad Ryan Reynolds is doing it. The whole adorable, no, you're adorable scene. Every girl I know has been posting that little meme on social media just because Pikachu looks freaking cute as heck.
Yeah,
in
he
this.
does.
It's I'm hyped for it. It's good to see that they're not only doing Gen 1 Pokemon that a lot of people know of, but generations of Pokemon up to the most recent as well. Whether you guys are very familiar in that or not.
Well, it's a smart move. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to bring back Gen 1.
yeah.
Right? Why limit
You got to
yourself
stay
to
with
that?
the times.
Yep.
Kids
Exactly.
are current gen.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm so hyped. When I first heard about this, I thought, like a lot of people, I'm sure, I'm like, this is stupid. This is never gonna
was
work.
like,
But
whatever,
fuck, this
yeah.
trailer won me in an instant.
Yes.
I'm so. I can't stress enough how impressed I am that the Pokemon look that good.
Yeah,
they
right?
look. They don't, with the exception of maybe Mr. Mime, who looks like a fucking weirdo.
But I think he always has.
He always has, but it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
The more I see him, the more I'm put off by just his character design as a whole.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
But generally speaking, they all look great, and I didn't realize how much I wanted a live action Pokemon movie until I saw this trailer. Like I am all in.
I didn't know this
Take
was
my
gonna,
money.
Yeah,
Yep.
take it. I didn't think this was going to be the one we were going to get, but I think it's a great entry into Pokemon live action being a thing more often.
Yeah.
I always thought it was going to be like an Ash story, but why condense that when you can make it a little more of like a side story that isn't necessarily part of the anime universe?
I think that's the way to do it. And
Sure.
it looks like that's where they're going.
Sure.
So we'll see. I hope it's good.
Because anybody can come in.
Yeah, exactly. They
Anybody
can do anything.
You don't need to actually know Pokemon lore. I mean, you kind of need to know the Pokemon a bit if you're like that interested, but you don't even know the lore of the stories.
After,
No.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because after I fell off after Gen 2, I dabbled in Gen 3, but the generations after that, I can't. I don't
Is that
know
a
anything.
sword?
Yeah,
A Pokemon could be a sword?
Are they going to eat that ice cream Pokemon?
No, understandable. There are some
They
questionable
throw this
designs.
garbage Pokemon in the trash compactor by mistake.
To be fair, Muck was just like sea sludge that came to life. And
Sure.
that's Gen 1, but then again, that's
But
probably
I
not
mean,
one of the most...
it's better than an ice cream cone.
Fair enough. That was when they
There's a
actually let
chandelier
Americans
Pokemon.
design the Pokemon. That's why we got Ice Cream Pokemon. It was
Who designed it?
an American illustrator.
Fucking Americans.
Yeah.
Fucking gotta ruin everything. Although this movie is American.
Yes.
Right?
So yeah, Legendary Pictures. So I'm super
nice.
excited for that. As to the quality, you can see that now. The fur physics look really nice. Also, I agree with you, Peter, in that the Pokemon look really great, and I'm glad that they waited so long to make a live action movie. That way, the CG can look really good. You know.
Yeah. Imagine if they tried making this in the 90s.
It would have been something for us to cringe at. We would have loved it then, but looking back, it would have been questionable.
Like
What's the release
Fighter.
date?
Release date? Let me check that really quick. 2019 for sure. Is it May or is it just 2019?
I have no idea.
I want to say it's something. Well, obviously something. Pikachu Detective.
It is something.
Right. Pikachu.
It's a Pikachu.
Movie. Here we go.
Who's a detective?
It is coming out. Just says 2019 from what I can see. Yeah, 2019. No official. Oh no, May 10th. Sorry, May 10th.
Oh, so it's
Nice.
fairly recent.
Yeah. About 7 months
Open
away.
that
Yeah.
poster.
Which one? Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
So it's like the nightlife of Rhyme City is where the movie is set.
What gen
Why
is
is
it?
Rhyme City?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Rhyme City was part of the Detective Pikachu video game, actually, which came out
Oh,
for
okay.
3DS.
Did you ever
Gotcha.
play it, Adrian?
Never played it. It
Why?
seemed like fun. I just
Damn, fake fan.
I play.
At AJ Applesauce, call him fake,
Yeah,
right,
fake
there you
Pokemon
go.
fan.
I wanted to play it, just never took the time to buy it. I've been buying too many games and not completing them. I didn't want this to be another one of them. Only reason I'll say my biggest
Yep.
excuse
Yep.
is that
Excuse.
The
I feel like
self-proclaimed Pokemon master of the room.
Look it. So just to be
I'm looking,
real,
AJ.
to be real, a lot of games that I buy nowadays that I buy like day one are games that I usually either are gifted to me from my girlfriend or if it's like a smaller gaming developer that I want to be able to earn some money. Like when Hollow Knight was released on Nintendo Switch, it was only previously available on PC, and this is like a very small development team of people. And so I figured, you know what, I'm going to buy this day one. On top of that, they put it on sale as well on the Nintendo Switch eShop.
That's the real reason you bought it. Let's not be real.
And I'm
Oh
curious.
no, it was a good
It's
sale.
on
It was like
sale.
$5 off.
Didn't
It was
you
great.
buy this Pokemon game that I just saw?
My girlfriend
Right.
Sin pre-ordered it for me for my birthday, so I got that day one. A likely story.
Yeah.
No, but no,
AJ
yeah.
has a girlfriend.
The roast is real. Damn. But no, yeah, just essentially, I liked the idea of it. The voice acting for Pikachu is really good in that
Yeah.
movie, in that game too. Actually, I've watched like little snippets of the game, little let's plays of it, and it seems like really good voice acting for Pikachu as well. Not Ryan Reynolds caliber, but still really snarky, really good, sarcastic humor. I liked it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, to move on from my shame of not buying that game right now, we do have our review, which is the title of this video. We watched the movie Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald, if you will. Yes. Yeah, we'll start off with light to no spoilers, and then definitely move into spoilers pretty quickly. So if you want to jump ahead a little bit to later on in the episode, probably do it about 20-30 minutes in, just in case we happen to go a little long
You
on
want to
this one.
start time coding the? You can cut this part out if you want, but
No,
you want
no.
to start like putting time codes in the description. That way they know when
No,
to
make him
jump
suffer.
to.
Make him suffer.
It's not a bad idea. It's something I've considered, just have not taken the time to. But
Right.
for you that's listening, if you would appreciate something like that, tweet us or find us on Instagram. Let us know. Or you can email us also, of course. Again, STGeekPod at Gmail and at STGeekPod, Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, let's dive into it, guys. What did you guys think?
I really liked the first one. This one I was pretty whatever about.
Okay.
I did like the CGI, like the battles.
Some of it was
Some of it was cool.
Yeah.
Some of it was
I
cool.
will give it that, but you guys might disagree with me. I just felt like there was too much story going on.
They try to throw a lot in.
Yeah,
a lot. Cynthia said the same thing.
There were some moments where I was lost. 100%. Okay, what is happening?
I mean, it might be our ignorant...
I love you guys.
Yeah, no.
My girlfriend, she kind of disagreed with me. She's like,
she's
no,
following
you're
it?
not connected. It was like, well, like connected, but I don't need 7 stories in one movie.
Yeah. It was like, wait, so he is that person? Oh, no, he's not that person anymore. But then he's this person. Oh, wait, now he's related to who?
There's a black guy killing him now? What's going on?
Exactly. It was just, it was topsy-turvy, and probably not in the best way, I would say. But it was entertaining. I liked it.
I don't know if that had to do with me. I like Harry Potter. I wouldn't call myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I've never read the books, but I certainly enjoyed the movies, and I know and I'm immersed in the lore of the movies to a certain extent.
YouTube?
Mostly YouTube.
Yeah. That shit gets addicting.
And
Go down that rabbit
so
hole.
I don't know if maybe that's why it was confusing, because I don't know if these names are thrown out there in the books a bit more often. I recognize
Probably
I noticed the name Lestrange, Lita
Yeah.
Lestrange. Obviously, she's
Yes.
a pretty big player in the books and in the movies. So I don't know if some of these other characters' names they threw out there I'm just unfamiliar with, but I found that very hard to keep up with. That's where it lost me in a lot of places, where they just threw out this house of whatever or the lineage of this. I'm just like, am I supposed to know who that is?
Captions would have helped.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Most
Captions.
definitely.
AJ.
Oh, now you like him, AJ?
Captions.
Now you like him.
I was going to say, for our ignorant American minds, we could not decipher probably all of the British words that were being said so quickly and how to whisper, especially when they were trying to figure out who this guy was, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Who Credence was, if you will.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go off based off performances of actors right now. What do you guys think of Johnny Depp, the one of the bigger players in this movie?
I've heard a lot of people complain about it.
Really?
I was really whatever about it. He didn't have a lot of lines. He
Yeah.
didn't do a lot of acting. He was just there, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, from my understanding, Grindelwald is supposed to be. He's not. He's charismatic. He's a master manipulator
He
kind
was.
of character, and that certainly comes across. He's not menacing. He's not. He doesn't really come off as evil, other than the way he looks. He looks like a fucking maniac. But yeah, I as a villain, I actually thought he was all right. He was fun.
I agree. I was looking forward to. Well, not
I mean, I
looking
don't
forward
really
to
like
it.
Johnny Depp, but
Yes.
his performance
It was
fine.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why people are complaining. He was
Yeah.
there.
It was one of his better performances of late, in my opinion. I did not think I was going to like his performance in this
I
movie,
can see
and
somebody.
yet I really did.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I could see somebody argue that maybe he was phoning it in because he wasn't very emotional, but I think that just
That's the
has to do with the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
his air about that. But then when he did shout, you really kind of felt it, especially when he says one of his final speeches. I was like, oh crap, he's kind of charismatic, and he was able to turn some people that I didn't expect to turn.
Spoiler.
Yeah, well,
I'm
not
just
too
kidding.
specific, but no, you're right. Yeah, we'll get there eventually as far as specifics on that. Eddie Redmayne as Newt
I still
Scamander,
think he's great.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the
He
best
was
parts
really
of the
good.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
very good.
He's a
go ahead,
great
please.
actor. He's
He's an Oscar winner.
for what movie again?
Theory of Everything. Yeah.
Okay.
He was amazing in that movie. I could be wrong, but I think I mentioned this movie earlier in the podcast, earlier episodes. Danish Girl. I don't know if he won Best Actor for that, but I think that movie was nominated at the very least, where he plays a transgender person.
Really?
And it's like the early ages of transgender.
Wow.
So yeah, or like, I guess, I don't know if it's really politically right to put it this way anymore, but transsexual, where he actually changes sexes from male to female. It's not a spoiler. That's what the movie is about, and it's the journey of that. Very heavy movie. Very, very well acted movie. The co-star in that, lady that plays his wife, played Lara Croft in the latest Tomb Raider movie, among other movies as well. So yeah, didn't we watch the movie where she starred in recently? What was she in?
What?
I thought she was in something we watched recently. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, I thought Eddie Redmayne did a fantastic job as Commander.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
It was just more character development for him. You actually got to see a little more emotion from him as well. I thought it was a little heavy-handed on the whole love thing in the beginning, but then once it actually started to happen, I kind of bought it a little more. I was like, okay, yeah, he's not just like a shut-in and someone that's very shy and timid. He actually is someone capable of feelings for actual people rather than just fantastic beasts that he likes to take care of.
Even the way he, the salamander?
That was a cute line.
That was pretty funny.
So even then, he
awesome.
still relates it to like his animals.
Yes.
So you can tell that's like his...
So going back to what AJ said about, I think it was last week, when he talked about how Newt Scamander's personality is a bit off. He seems kind of
a little socially awkward, to say the least.
Yeah. And it seems like he's just more comfortable. The impression that I always got, even from the first one, he just likes the company of these creatures more so than he likes people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you definitely see that in this movie as well. Like, he feels most at home with these creatures and like caring for them and whatnot. And it's something I really, really enjoy. Speaking of the creatures, I want to throw this out there real quick. I don't know if they do this in the expanded lore of Harry Potter already, but I loved how they tied in actual mythology into what these creatures are.
Oh, sure.
That was cool.
They had the kappa.
Exactly.
That was really cool. I was like, what the heck? And the Chinese dragon. That had still had like feline-esque, I guess, attributes to it.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it was a fun little joke in there as well with the whole rattle.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
But that being said, there wasn't that many beasts.
Yeah. They were somewhat fantastic. Some of them were pretty fantastic.
There just wasn't as many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like naming this new series of Harry Potter movies Fantastic Beasts is a bit of a misstep, but
they gotta go with it now, right? No looking back.
They're all in.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, wow, there's actually on Pottermore, there's a lot more info about this. I'm gonna have to read this later. Probably should have before this episode, but that's all right. Just looking up Newt Scamander.
We do things half-assed here. They come to our listeners come to expect this from us.
Yeah,
we're gonna be completely unprepared.
Shame on you if you think otherwise.
Right. I'm going to save one of the heavy hitters that wasn't in the movie too much for a little later, but we do have Ezra Miller as Credence Barebone. I don't know if I liked him any more in this movie than I liked him in the first one. Just as mysterious, but I don't know if it paid off very well in this one.
So I have a confession.
Sure.
I saw the first movie once, and it was on a plane. I forgot that he was in this series at all.
Well, he does have a new haircut in this one, a better haircut in this one.
Yeah, in the first one, he looked like a guy that cuts his own hair.
Yeah, the bowl cut.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I don't remember.
They're really going for it. I thought I would have been okay with them kind of killing him off and maybe bringing another kind of villain because he kind of like died in the first one. Spoilers. Or you were led to believe he died.
They mentioned it, and I couldn't remember what had happened. So
they're like, he lived. What? I saw them. They blew his ass up with magic.
Right? What was their
magic?
No, that's true. And I think the only explanation was, I thought he died. No, he survived. And then, okay. It's like, but how? What happened? What did he do? It didn't even like allude.
They could have just said he was so powerful that he lived because of
he was able to bring back his biology into being once again. I mean, I feel you. It is Harry Potter universe.
But then there is kind of an explanation on why.
Oh,
but they say it at the end of the movie. But we'll talk about it in spoilers.
Yes, we will get there. Okay,
on why you would imagine. I mean, it's a cop out. I don't feel it's bad writing.
There were a couple cop outs in the beginning of this movie, like with Jacob and Queenie as well, those characters, which were lovable in this movie to a degree. Like, I forgot how much I liked those characters in the first one. I know I knocked the first movie pretty hard at the end of last episode. And I just didn't find it that entertaining, but I did remember liking their, this couple's, I guess, their chemistry in the first one. They were really good.
One of my biggest problems with the first movie was the Jacob character.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't like him at all. There was too much. There was too much of it.
I think Dan Folker's great in everything.
A lot of that comedy didn't land for me. I was just like, why is this guy? Like, I get that he's there specifically narratively to be the audience. Like, oh, what's this? What's that? Like, he doesn't know anything, so he's there for like exposition and explaining stuff that's going on and all that stuff. But I just thought he was annoying. A lot of his comedy was just him laughing hysterically at shit for no reason and just being a bumbling buffoon, and I wasn't into it at all.
Okay.
And when they reintroduced him in this movie, I thought I was going to get a lot more of that. Not so much. Not so much. I was actually fine with him in this one.
Do you think that has to do with the fact that he knows more about magic?
Perhaps.
He's not quite as shocked by things anymore?
I hated we'll talk about that one too. How they brought him back. If you know you're making a sequel, why do you like do certain things?
They shoehorned in a lot of things.
Like they just ignored,
like Credence Barebone. Like it was like, oh, he just survived. Yeah, we'll get there. We also had Lita Lestrange, played by Zoe Kravitz. I liked her. I feel like they didn't give her too much to do. This is just my opinion. She did have one big thing to do near the end, but that was about it.
And she was whatever.
Yeah,
character.
I thought she was a cool looking character. I liked the kind of sadness they brought to her, but ultimately it was just okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It was kind of weird. This movie overall, I thought was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. The first act I thought was really boring.
Yes.
And one of the bigger problems I had with it in relation to this character specifically is you introduce a character and you force such a large arc onto her all in one movie, and it didn't really me personally anyway, I didn't feel any connection to this character at all because specifically because they tried to do too much with her all in such a short span of time. It didn't land.
Maybe that's what I meant, because I kind of said the opposite in that they didn't give her much to do, but I guess I just didn't care about what they did have her do. I mean, a little bit, it was a sad story and all on her arc, but...
Which it was, but
I think they could have stretched it out a little more, or like... Maybe made it for the third movie.
Maybe if they'd have introduced her in the first movie.
There you go.
What John alluded to a moment ago, it felt like this doesn't feel much like a sequel to the first one. It feels like two completely different movies. I mean,
Same
for all
villain.
intents and purposes, it is a sequel.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of push aside some of the conclusion that happened in the first movie, it felt like they didn't know they were going to be making this.
Yeah,
movie.
it made the first one invalid. Like all the events of the first one invalid completely.
And this character kind of portrays that as well. Like if they would have if they knew they were going to have this character, I think they should have introduced her in the first movie, have a bit more of an arc, have you grow an attachment to her before they go all this thing. But they introduce you immediately. And by the way, the scene they introduced her in was very fucking bizarre. It was a first-person perspective of Newt Scamander talking to her, and it was kind of hazy for no fucking reason. He'd look down and he'd look up. Like, I don't know if that was supposed to show us how, like, timid he is and, like, maybe shy or something
I think that's exactly what it was.
But I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Am I supposed to know who this... Again, am I supposed to know who this is? Am I supposed to care? They clearly have a history together, but who is she? Why do I care?
And I didn't really buy their history that much either. Like, he did nice things for her, but... I didn't dig the whole love each other thing, or that there was a fling at all. Spoilers, I guess.
I don't even
there
know.
wasn't really a caring.
I don't
spoiler.
even understand if that was
not an
supposed to be a
important
thing.
spoiler. At least I don't think.
That's what I mean.
The desk said it. It happened.
It was. Ultimately, her character could have been a lot better because I like her as an actress. I thought she was cool, but
good.
just not enough to really enjoy from her. And then we did, of course, have Jude Law as Professor Albus Dumbledore. I love Jude Law and everything. I pronounced it right, Albus Dumbledore.
Yes,
I like him in pretty much everything. I thought he was a spectacular Dumbledore in this movie.
I
would have liked more.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I can say I liked him a lot, but there wasn't enough to make like that definitive answer. I mean, he's gonna kill it. I know he is. But there just wasn't a lot of him.
No, but I think that made it sweeter, kind of like how,
now you want it.
Yes,
now I need some
I feel like
that drug I need.
That was the build up.
Hit me up.
Because everybody that knows Harry Potter lore, this shouldn't be a spoiler. That Dumbledore is famous for defeating Grindelwald. That's the thing that like really makes him popular. So that's going to happen, and so I feel like this is building up towards that. It's all building up towards that. So his lack of inclusion is, like you said, supposed to build hype for the when they actually finally do meet.
Yes. I like to think they might throw in a little twist as to how it all goes down as far as the victory of
there is a little
twist. There may have already been a twist.
Look,
That's
can we go to
true.
Spoilers already?
Not quite, not yet.
Not quite? Okay,
are
well, what else do you have to
teasing
say? What else do you have to say?
I don't know. What was I talking about?
We were talking about Jude Law as Dumbledore.
Oh yeah, Jude Law.
Great job.
He was great, and he's not the Dumbledore we know from later movies.
Well, he's a lot younger, for that matter.
No, well, I mean, just personality-wise, he has some traits that he's retained into the later movies, but he's younger. He's a bit more...
He was super friendly, which I loved his friendliness in that movie. Like, his openness to the students, I feel like we didn't get enough of that in the original Harry Potter movies, even though he was very kind to everyone.
He's mostly kind to Harry Potter, though. You don't see him interact with anybody else in the later movies, so it is cool to see him be a bit more...
of a good teacher.
Yeah.
Well, everything was going down in the later movies.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I guess in this movie, too.
He grew an attachment to the one... In the later movies, he grew an attachment to the one...
He favored somebody.
that he knew was going to have to die. Spoiler.
Yeah, if you haven't seen an old series of books / movies now.
Yeah.
That have been, is that series like the...
It's like 10 years
the
old
book, the movies are 10 years old now? Well, books are super old now.
Yeah.
But yes. But yeah, pretty great for performance by Jude Law. I've loved him. You guys are ready for spoilers. Let's do it. Jump ahead a little bit. I'll try to time code this one for you, and from now on. What do you guys think?
Okay, so
Please.
I just want to say this really quick, just for the viewers who don't know this. Dumbledore defeats Grindelwald, right?
Yes.
But it's Voldemort who kills him. I don't know if you guys know that. And
I don't know that.
That actually happens in the movie, in the Harry Potter movies.
Really?
He breaks into the prison and he kills the prisoner. And the reason he kills him is because he wants to be able...
The Elder Wand.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. No, you're right. I completely forgot about that.
Trippy.
Fucking crazy, right? It
Very
happens in the movie. They should show it.
Huh. What the fuck?
Spoilers. That's why
Yeah.
I waited for spoilers.
Very much so.
Yep.
Mind blown. There you go. I'm sure a lot of Pottermore people already realize that. So sorry for not up on the hype train of that. But
potheads.
pretty cool though.
Oh, the pothead.
The potheads.
Interesting
Yes,
little fact,
exactly.
right?
No,
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, shit.
I didn't know
Nice.
that, but I completely... It's
You
slipped
forget,
my mind,
yeah.
sure. So one thing, as far as just how the movie started out, it was weird that Jacob and Queenie just came back like that. And wasn't it like the same kind of explanation? Oh, I thought you guys were gone. No, we survived or something like that. He did that twice in this movie at
he
least.
got his mind wiped, his memory.
mind wiped.
And his excuse was it only gets rid of bad memories. And he didn't have any
Yes.
bad memories. That was terrible.
Ever since my
Bullshit.
Queenie.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a cop-out. There are a lot of cop-outs in this movie, at least as far as characters being reintroduced into the world
I think
again.
that's one of the reasons why I hated the first act.
Yes, it was a boring
without a
first
doubt.
act.
It was pretty boring, and then all of this, I'm just like, wait, I thought this happened. Why did they retcon that immediately?
Do you think it had to do with he doesn't remember, and then the next one comes up and he's back? Do you think that's what they were going for?
Maybe, but it definitely didn't play off that way.
You guys apparently love the Jacob character. I would have been fine with him not being in this movie.
I was
Going
okay with
into
that,
this
yeah.
movie anyway.
I didn't
Having
care.
said that, he was a lot better in this movie for me than he was in the first one. But if he was not included at all, I wouldn't have missed him. So
I agree.
coming from your perspective, since you guys, it seemed like you guys enjoyed the character.
He had a couple of jokes for me that landed, like the whole when he's reminiscing, because spoilers, Queenie goes off to go on an investigation. His girlfriend, not even fiance or anything like that, apparently. And so he's all depressed because she's gone. They got in a big fight because they want to be together, but he's not willing to get married because it's illegal since he's a what are they called?
Muggle.
Muggles, yes, or no
magic.
spells, all that stuff.
No magic.
I love how during that scene with Johnny
All those
Depp,
He has
that
a
he
bunch
has?
of different slurs. That was pretty good.
That was really
It was
cool.
dope, yeah.
Super like,
And again, he wasn't very hateful. He was just like speaking. He's very charismatic.
and he was saying here that he loved them too. He was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't hate them. I love them.
until the people left. Then you actually see like that evil
But
side.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's like a master manipulator.
Oh,
and
that's great.
He knows how to get
They
his
bring it
message
up. They
across.
bring that up in the first scene, which I had problems with when he escaped.
Yes,
Like he's this top bad guy, considered one of the best wizards in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and some guy who I'm assuming isn't as powerful, breaks in like nothing using magic.
The first thing you see is like a fly go into like his force field zone
Yes.
and get us incinerated immediately.
Right.
So you're thinking like, how the fuck? Or damn. First of all, I thought that was a really cool.
it was a cool little introduction to the character in
liked
this movie.
Some of the magic in this movie overall was fucking incredible.
I love the fact that we're not learning about the magic.
was gonna bring
it's
that up,
just
yes.
fucking happening.
Now we just get experience.
I was
now.
hoping for a lot more of that in the first movie, which I didn't get too much but there's a lot of it in this one, and I thought it was great. Again, you're not following children being taught. These are adults who know what the fuck they're doing.
It's
Yes.
and it's great.
There's no need for an explanation anymore. It's magic anyway. Just do the spell. You know.
Yeah.
I agree. There were a couple spells that I thought were a little silly. The whole what the enchantment that Queenie did.
Well, that was in the first Harry Potter. It was a throwback.
I just thought it was kind of unnecessary to have the whole heart symbol come up and then dissipate.
enchantment.
It was a little.
Yeah.
I know, but it was a little silly. It's like, does that
character's
shape really
silly.
need to happen? I agree, and that I was all admit I was a little turned off. With him in that bit, I was like, why is he being so silly? Like, it was kind of funny when he was being all snuggly, but then when you see his vision being all like rose petals and pink and
the
soft,
audience immediately
I was
knows
like,
something going on here. What's happening?
yeah, I think they could have done that in a little
I
bit of a
only
better
look
way.
at cake like
but
that.
Exactly. So maybe that scene, I'll admit, was a little much for me with the Jacob character, but overall, I really enjoy his comedy.
I was thinking, Why wasn't he more angry at the fact that she, like, he was just kind of like, oh, you don't need to enchant me, babe. I would be pissed.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck you doing?
The
You
mind
basically
reading.
mind controlled me.
Yes.
Do you think that has to do with the whole Reacher and Settler thing?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. You might be right.
Yeah, exactly. He got a babe, and so he's trying to fight for her and be like, you know what, you can do whatever you want to me, baby.
Yeah.
I got you. Right?
I would have been
You
pissed.
cast that spell, baby.
Maybe it's me then. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's so sad. But I mean, it's a cool character. Though that couple did experience something really huge. Remember, we're in spoilers now. So at the end of the movie, you guys are okay to talk about that?
Well, so before we get
Please.
to that part,
Yeah, just remind me later.
The reason Queenie leaves Jacob in the first place is because it's explained to us that she wants to get married, she wants to have kids, she wants to settle down. Jacob refuses to get married because it is illegal.
Even though he wants to.
He wants to, but he refuses to put her in any type of... he would be putting her in danger. She could possibly go to jail. The both of them could, I assume.
Yes.
If they were to get married. So he doesn't want to jeopardize their love, but she's willing to risk it all. And that definitely culminates in the end when she decides to side with Grindelwald because he convinces her that he wants the same thing. He wants nomads,
free love,
and magics to be able to marry and whatnot, which is probably not true.
Yeah,
because again, he'll just say whatever he can to anybody to get people on his
The
side.
way
To build
the
an army.
speech he had, how he said it
great
specifically,
speech.
they're not of value, but they're used for other purposes. Like how he was saying, wording
like
things.
they're disposable.
They're not disposable.
They're not disposable,
they're
but
of other value is how he said.
what does that
That was
mean, though?
great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
You kind of get on his side a little bit just
yeah.
for the way that he's talking. Like it's really good.
Forgive me, but I compared him to Killmonger in that he's one of those villains that he has a good point and he's charismatic and he has a reason for everything he does, and I care about his reasons. Like he might be manipulating people, but the way he goes across sending his message, it's kind of effective.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Fair enough.
Maybe in the
Fair
way.
Magneto. I think
Yeah,
it's more
that's
like
fair.
Magneto.
Human rights.
Well-
Kind of like a statement on that.
Well, I wouldn't even go that far because again, this goes back to him being a master manipulator. Like with Magneto and Killmonger, you kind of side with them because they're right, and you know that's what those are their intentions, those are their motives. With Grindelwald, he's saying all these things, but for me personally, I don't believe anything he's saying. I know he's saying it for the crowd. As much as I like the way he's delivering it, I already know he's full of shit.
Sure.
Whereas in Magneto's case and Killmonger's case, you side with them because you know those are their motives.
It's
You
their
know
cause.
that's their cause exactly.
They're honest. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I agree with you in that. Grindelwald, he's just doing this to build his army. He doesn't do it for the betterment of all of them. He does it because it's his prerogative.
Right.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. But I loved how well portrayed he did do his message. I kind of liked it. What else do you guys want to touch on? Anything else for this? Please.
I feel like there's still so much to do.
There is
Yeah,
a
there
lot
really
to talk
is a
about.
lot.
Oh, the alchemist character. What was his name again? Nicholas Flamel.
Nicholas Flamel. I thought it was
that
great.
was
I was like, that was so cool.
I don't
Yes.
get the reference.
He's the one that creates the Philosopher's Stone, and you actually see it when he goes into like a safe. You see the Philosopher's Stone kind of just chilling there.
Oh, really?
Or it's known as the Sorcerer's Stone as well in America.
yeah, that's right.
But no, in English, in the books, they called it the Philosopher's Stone. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was dope.
So that's who
Yes.
he was?
yeah, he was the guy that
You
created
see,
it.
I didn't know that. It would have been a bigger deal if I knew.
When I
who
heard
it
that name, I was like, what?
Yeah, me too. And then like my girlfriend looked at me like, well, "Who the fuck is what?"
Flamel. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And he was a fun little character. I wish they would have given him a little more to do because he was silly. I would have liked to see like this silly guy be more of a badass, even though he did have a pretty cool scene at the end.
The dude's like fucking clinging on to life. Like fucking.
He did say, I haven't
Koala
had
on a
action in
tree.
years. In like 200 years. Yeah, that's true. And he's like immortal, he said, because he's an alchemist, right?
Yeah.
That
What
was
exactly
a
is
weird thing.
an alchemist?
You want to touch this
To
one?
be honest, I don't fucking know.
All right,
It's
YouTube
a lot.
it is.
It's a lot to do with chemistry, since it's alchemical.
It's the precursor, at least in, I don't know how it is in the Harry Potter movies. It's the precursor to chemistry in
medieval
real
times,
life.
you could say.
Yes.
Yeah, in real life. So like people would come up
That's
with
boring.
concoctions and potions and stuff like that, elixirs to make you more healthy, grow your hair back.
Yeah.
But the Philosopher's Stone is something that every alchemist goes for because it grants you, I guess, unlimited power towards alchemy. It can give you whatever you want.
Okay.
So yeah, that essentially he was the one that created the Philosopher's Stone in the Harry Potter universe.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Do you think he was needed at the end? Like, I feel like
I just thought it was a fun little.
He was
thing
able
that
to
they
give
threw
him
in
enough.
there.
Yeah, he gave him enough power to be able to fight off Grindelwald for a little bit.
I just I was talking to Yvonne about it, my girlfriend, and he actually said what spell to use.
Yeah,
right?
he said cast your wands into the earth or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
so he wasn't necessary in that regard.
He helped.
Yes.
But anybody could have. It seemed like most of these wizards were already trained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
very well
again, I don't think he was necessary, but it was just a fun little thing that they threw in there. A little.
Here's something I would like to ask you guys. I actually thought about this. I was thinking about this. What exactly makes you a powerful wizard? Are you born that way? Is it the more spells you know? What defines?
I think it could be a little bit of both. To be honest, I don't know what the lore says exactly, but my impressions are it could be. It could be both. You could be born into it because in Dumbledore's case and Grindelwald's case, they seem to be just have this knack for it. They're the two most powerful wizards of the time for no reason other than they're just that good. It's never really explained.
Yeah, but then you have people because I'm sure there are people who know just as many spells as them. Mm-hmm. So it's not only the knowledge of it. So is it you're just born gifted?
Think about it like some people are just naturally gifted, like athletes. Some people are just naturally good. They don't have to train, and they're still incredible.
But do you think you can train to become?
Yeah,
like I think,
as powerful as them?
I think Hermione is a pretty good example of that. Like,
well, she knows a lot of spells.
She's like a prodigy,
and she's good at them too.
Yeah, she's just naturally good at them. Yeah, and I think she's a good studier though as well. Obviously,
because
that's my point.
Voldemort that was like that, right? Because he was also half, or no, he was full blood.
He was half.
He's a half blood.
He's half blood,
okay, gotcha.
and he resents his Muggle side, but he's half.
And he's considered the most powerful at that time too, right?
Yeah,
kind of crazy. So he must have trained.
Essentially, I imagine like if two wizards or witches could cast the same spell, maybe those that practice it more or those that augment it in a certain way can overcome another wizard or witch's spell to make it more strong.
Okay.
So the way
that's my imagination.
The way learning spells works in the lore is that you know how sometimes they say the word and sometimes they don't.
Alohomora,
right.
Yeah.
When you practice the spell and you're first learning it, you have to shout it to cast it. But the more familiar you get with the spell, when you get to a point where you master it, you can just do it without saying it.
Gotcha.
So Ultra Instinct it? Just
not Ultra Instinct, pretty much. So it kind of goes like even if you're good, you still have to train. It feels like. I don't know.
No, sure.
I don't know if that answers your question.
No, yeah, that's what I kind of thought. I just wanted your guys' opinion because they don't ever really touch on it. It's just these guys are powerful.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: so when Voldemort casted Abracadabra, why did he have to yell at that one? Even though he's like one of the most powerful beings ever in that universe, is it just because it's that powerful of a spell?
It's Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra. I'm sorry. I just heard Abracadabra. Whatever. But yes, okay.
I have no fucking idea.
Okay, maybe just
that's the short
powerful.
answer to that. Yep, I have no idea.
Fair enough. It
Maybe
was a cool line. I love when he yelled it.
He just likes killing people, so he gets into it. He's just like
Fair enough. Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know if it made a difference or not with his character. But yeah, ultimately though, I did like the movie. It did drag in the beginning, and then there were other parts during the middle where it dragged a bit. I loved though that Chinese dragon character. That was pretty fun. Like
dope.
I told Sin, my girlfriend, when we were watching it, though, I was like, this creature's gonna haunt my nightmares for tonight. It was kind of scary looking, at least in the beginning. It was really like. It looked like a demented wild thing beast from like that movie.
Yeah,
and those bugs.
Did.
It was kind of freaky looking, but it was ultimately lovable. I liked what they did with it.
That horse seaweed creature thing that he tames kind of freaked me out a little bit.
What was that thing called? Kelpling or something like that? Kelp beast, I think it was. Yeah, Kelp beast. I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of reminded me of like
that was a really cool scene, but it freaked me the fuck. I don't like sea creatures or the ocean very much, so that I was just like, ugh.
In video games,
grossed me
I'm
out.
not one to swim underwater very often. For some reason, I don't do it in video games very much if I don't have to.
Me neither. It freaks me the fuck out.
The Plesiosaurus in Super Mario 64, I hated swimming underneath that thing. I don't know why.
Oh, that was the worst. The ones that kind of nip at you.
It was
my god!
Oh,
and then you get shit!
Yeah.
It hits you. Ugh. Or the fucking Sonic level when you're about to drown and you hear anxiety.
Now that I'm thinking about it, that might be the cause of all my ocean-related anxiety.
All those anxieties as kids, it was instilled within us from video games.
Ain't no time limit in life either. You gonna die.
Right? Or there's the ultimate time limit. You can think of it that way. You're done once it's done. Unless you're Keanu Reeves, apparently. But yes, I liked the movie more than I thought I was going to. And I remember my girlfriend saying before we saw it, I was like, "Are you sure you want to see this with me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I heard it's really bad. It makes me want to see it more." But ultimately,
it's not as bad as people. No.
It's worth seeing in theaters. I will go that far.
I think it was better than Venom. And
yes,
was pretty good.
I think Venom still takes the cake for a movie. My least favorite movie for this podcast. I liked Overlord more though than this movie.
Overlord was actually good.
Both movies are in theaters right now. My vote, go see Overlord first. It's worth the money. Go support a smaller company. I think
It depends. It depends on what your taste is.
Fair enough,
Overlord's
yeah.
pretty dang good, but if you really
very different movie though.
Watch
Yeah.
it for the first 5 minutes, first
Oh,
10
yeah.
minutes. Oh my god,
It'll suck you in.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you guys wanted to talk about with this one?
well, we haven't touched on the
Please, there's a
big
lot to touch on.
lore change, or possibly big lore change, in that Ezra Miller's character, what was his name? What was his name again?
Barebone. Credence. Barebone.
Credence, at the end, Grindelwald tells him that he's actually Dumbledore's brother.
Yes.
In the lore, he doesn't have another brother.
It's just the one brother.
He just
and
has the
one
one
sister.
brother and the one
Who
sister.
died. Okay.
The one
And they
sister
show the
died.
brother in the movie.
Yes.
But the only thing is are they thinking that, or does Dumbledore think his brother died because that's the baby that drowned in the movie?
No, the brother doesn't exist.
Oh.
In the lore
But it
before
might
this.
be the father's brother's kid.
Possible, because
I don't see what
This is
else.
getting
Because
complicated, but that's how this movie
they
is.
say your family with the Phoenix, that whole little Phoenix.
Yeah,
It's their
Dumbledore-
birthright
it's-
to have a Phoenix
Well, they-
come for you,
yeah.
come to your aid.
Yes.
So maybe it is just like their cousins, not actually brothers.
Grindelwald, and I agree with you 100%. Grindelwald specifically says that you're Dumbledore's brother, but for
said
all we know, he could be lying. He could be a relative, maybe in some way. He is a relative to Dumbledore in some capacity. Otherwise, the Phoenix wouldn't have blossomed into a Phoenix.
Yes.
So he's a Dumbledore for sure. Whether or not Grindelwald is lying to him about being his brother remains to be seen. I feel like that's the most
He
likely.
actually said that?
Yes, he did.
Did you hear that?
What?
That it was his brother?
Yeah, he said
Oh,
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I need
that
to
was like
stop
the big
eating
spoiler
popcorn.
at the end. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like he's your brother. It just wasn't that. I think it could have been more impactful, but maybe since I'm not a big Potter fan, yeah, Potterhead.
Shit.
It
That
didn't
was a
mean that much
big
to me, but I thought it was cool.
what the
I was
fuck
like,
moment.
oh crap, he's Dumbledore's brother. Yeah.
Okay.
I did enjoy it, even if they do kind of. I guess it would technically be a retcon if they do end up revealing that he's not actually his brother. I do like the fact that in a movie, in these prequel movies, they're willing to throw curveballs in there.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting.
Yeah,
that
no-
way you don't just know what's going to happen
Exactly.
in the future.
So it took me by surprise, and I was very happy for it. I thought it was great.
Speaking on that, throughout the movie, I was kind of taken out of the experience a little bit because, again, these are prequels, and you know the fate of Dumbledore at the end, or at least if you've watched the previous movies or read the previous books, you have an idea that, even though he's cuffed in this movie, he's going to get out of them. He doesn't wear them as an old man.
Yeah.
He's not always followed by the magic FBI, if you will.
Yeah.
So you know that he's going to get out of that. You know that Dumbledore lives. So that does take you out of it, but again, these little these little like curveballs that they throw at you, they do make it a little more interesting and a little less predictable. So I do agree with you there.
Oh yeah.
Peter, for
Also,
sure.
Nagini's used to be a human. Nagini.
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't know.
the Asian chick.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nagini is Voldemort's pet snake later on, and one of his Horcruxes, and apparently she used to be human.
That was a cool little touch to it. I
Some
like
people
that.
were
as well.
really pissed about that. I'm like,
Really?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Who
what
cares?
does it care? She was a cool character. They didn't give her that much to do, but she was a cool character. She was really pretty. I'll give her that. They call her like a beauty or something like that in the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you did, gosh, she was really hot.
She's really
She's
pretty.
really pretty.
For sure, exactly. Claudia Kim is the actor's name. Yeah, total cutie. But yeah, ultimately great movie. Anything else you guys want to touch on? Again, there is a lot to this movie.
I think the Ministry of Defense is a fucking joke.
They couldn't do a whole lot.
I thought they were a joke in the original
They're
movie,
kind of a joke.
but like I was saying, that first scene, like, where's all their enchantment spells?
Use a port key.
This
Use
this
the
lackey
zippity
just
zop thing.
transported himself on the shit. You magic.
Yeah,
Right?
you have magic.
Magic that shit up.
Why
but-
would you just? Why would
And
you
then,
use...
like, the hiring of people, like, when they didn't give it to Newt,
Yes.
they gave the position to a guy who's obviously evil.
Yeah, and they knew it. They were like, this guy's bad news. They didn't like the idea of hiring him.
Did they introduce him in the first movie?
I don't remember.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
Oh, he was
because
a new
what's
character?
his face? Newt Scamander knew who he was. It
Yes.
felt like there was some history there, but I was like, wait, am I supposed to? Again,
They never
the
touched
first
on it
act is
much.
very fucking confusing because I'm just like, who is this? Why do I care? Like, am I supposed to know who this is? I don't know.
Which I think is why it's not getting the best audience and critic ratings right now, because it is a little much to be throwing at people without enough exposition toward it. You know, it's like, it's just a lot of mentioning, but not enough showing, really, either.
Yeah.
And sometimes for a movie, a motion picture, you need to show motion pictures of what is going on and why we should care about it, rather than just spoken word that's mumbled really quickly and then never really touched on for the rest of the movie. So it kind of leads me not to care. either.
On the flip side, though, when you
Please.
over-explain things, it could be to a movie's detriment.
yeah,
the Star
sure.
Wars prequels, I think, are a pretty good example of that.
I mean, there's Cantabite in Last Jedi that I felt like was a whole segment of the movie that did not need to be there. At least not as long as it was. I thought it was okay. The second time went by quicker when I watched it. You don't know what Cantabite is, do you?
No.
Okay, yeah. It's just a segment in the movie that I didn't care about.
didn't
A
see
lot
The
of
Last
people
Jedi?
didn't care about it.
No.
You never saw The Last Jedi?
I didn't like the one before.
Oh, you didn't
it.
like Force Awakens?
Force Awakens?
No.
Really?
Yeah. But I've never been like the big. Don't get me
neither.
wrong. I've always liked Star Wars. I definitely have. But I've never been like the biggest fan, and I really didn't like it.
I would give Last Jedi a chance.
I would definitely see Last Jedi. If you
worth
didn't
renting,
like
at
The
least.
Force Awakens, maybe because it was too samey.
That was my
things up.
issue was
Then you may actually enjoy The Last Jedi.
because I did really like
Ray?
not Ray. I'm sorry,
Finn?
the movie that came out
sorry.
after or
Rogue
before.
One?
Yeah, Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One.
I really enjoyed Rogue One. I thought that one was
Similar
great.
tone.
I like the
It's
third
dark.
act of Rogue One.
heavy.
And I liked,
Diego Luna?
what's his name? No.
Oh,
well,
sorry.
he was good too. What the hell is his name?
Danny DeVito.
I loved his Pikachu in Rogue One. Yes, it was fantastic. God, what the hell's his name? The twirly stick guy, the blind dude.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Donnie
the
Yen.
character. Oh, wow.
That's the actor's name.
Gotcha.
I like Donnie Yen's
He was
character.
awesome.
He was really cool.
Yes, I agree there. But anyway, that's
going back to
totally different
Fanta-
movies. Back to Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald. Ultimately, a good movie. It looks like on Metacritic, it's sitting at 59%. Rotten Tomatoes, 40%. Although 89% of Google users like the movie, so that's something.
Millennials.
I certainly enjoyed it. I would upvote it. I would thumbs up it, swipe right, or
We'll
whatever.
thumbs
the fuck
up it right
do
now on Google. There you go.
Do you think the movie would have been better if they left out certain characters?
I think the movie would have been better if A, they did that, and 2, they didn't retcon a lot of shit from the first one.
Yeah, it made the first one completely
Which is
irrelevant.
bringing back unnecessary characters. They didn't need
Yeah.
to bring back some of those characters.
No, I agree. But yeah, ultimately though,
was
fun
good.
movie. Yeah, good movie. But I do agree with you, John, in that if they would have left out probably some characters in this one, the ones that they needed to focus on, we would have cared about more.
Yeah.
Especially characters like Lita Lestrange. Either leave her out or give her more stage time and maybe cut out people that you don't need as much.
The brother, I feel like there was no reason to have that whole the brother.
Yeah,
scene.
that was pretty weird because they hint that Lita Lestrange has had some sort of fling with Newt Scamander at some point, but then now she's marrying his brother for some reason.
Awkward.
And there was the whole thing of like, oh, does she think that you're trying to get him back or get her back?
Yeah.
Or the whole
It was-
"love you" when she dies and she just says "love you" like
In that general direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I didn't get it.
It didn't matter that much
And
to
then
me.
they also don't show any type of loving relationship between Lita Lestrange and the brother.
No.
That's true.
You wouldn't even know they're together
Did they kiss
if
once?
you didn't hear them mention it via dialogue.
I didn't give a
There's
fuck,
there's no
but
expression of it.
I didn't care that she died. I didn't care that he was sad that she died.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less if he died.
I like the only.
Is the point I'm trying to get.
The only saving grace of that whole situation is that it shows Newt kind of have emotion and hug his brother for it, just because it kind of goes back and plays an homage to the beginning of the movie when his brother hugs Newt.
And then he cracks a joke in the middle of the movie. He's a hugger.
Yeah, he's a hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, pointless.
He's a member of Ministry of Magic and he's a hugger. I thought it was a fun little
pointless-
joke, but it was,
They briefly bring him up in the first movie, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
still feel like
they looked like brothers. That was a cool bit, I guess.
I guess.
They actually got a good
They-
actor to play his brother.
Yeah.
But and you could see that there was like a slight sibling, not rivalry, just they just didn't really care for each other that much, but they did love each other, obviously. Yeah. Ultimately, what is his name? Theseus. It was, yeah, Theseus Commander. Okay character, not totally necessary, but I love the payoff at the end that Newt actually shows that he loves his brother and he cared about him, give him a hug to comfort him in his loss. But not needed. So with this movie, guys, it's not out on home video yet, but is it skip it, rent it, own it? What do you think?
rent it.
I'd probably say rent it.
It depends probably on the fan. Like if you're a super fan of Harry Potter, you're probably going to want to buy
I'd
this
probably
one.
buy it, actually. I
Yeah.
really like the special effects and the magic.
It
I
was
think
cool.
I'd buy it for that alone.
Let's wait for the release date, and we'll check in with this guy.
Yeah,
See
right.
if he buys it. Remind him,
Does
guys.
he buy
Happy
it?
Java.
You just ask him,
Let's
did
call
he
him
buy
out.
it? Mhm. I don't know if there's a date for home video yet, but remember to
I'll probably
remind
skip
him.
the first act entirely, but
That's fair. There's a scene selection
They
on
still
Blu-ray
get-
for a reason, so and DVDs. So do that. But yeah, I think that about does it for this episode of what was I going to say? Supersonic Technological Podcast. Geek. Yeah.
Fucking killed it.
Wow, nice.
I killed it in a good way, right? Yeah.
That's what I meant.
That was cool. Thanks for joining us on another episode of STGeek. What are we going to be covering next week, guys?
Creed.
2.
Okay, so Creed 2.
Yes.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the Wreck-It Ralph sequel also comes out next weekend?
I think that's the week after.
Is it?
Let's
No,
double check.
no,
So is it that next?
It comes
is it
out
Wednesday?
this week. Yeah.
Oh,
It's this week.
shit.
Okay,
I can care less
so which
about
one are we
that movie.
covering?
Creed.
Creed.
Money on Creed.
I don't know if that movie's going to make as much. It
Make as
does
much
come
what?
out
What does that mean?
on the 21st. Oh, no.
What? That's in like 3 days.
No, the 20th.
So 2 days. So Tuesday.
Comes out on Wednesday because of the holiday. So technically,
Creed
we could
also
see
comes out that
both.
same day.
Oh,
We could do like a review of both, a mini review.
let's
of
not
both.
do that.
What's that?
Wait, that takes too long. We're probably going to end up cutting this part. But
Maybe so. What do you guys think?
Fuck.
We'll work it out.
Fine.
You'll see in the next episode.
I don't. Yeah. But
Wreck-It Ralph, Creed 2. Which one should it be? Instagram, Twitter, STGeekPod. Let us know. Hit us up on Gmail as well. STGeekPod@gmail. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Check.
Check.
Check your booty.